Well, one thing, she wasn't too talky of a woman, at least.
Well, living out here so long, maybe she's lost the habit.
Yeah, maybe. This cussed buckskin can drink more water than a Texas mule.
Yeah, they've had enough. All right, let's ride.
Oh. Mr. Dillon?
What?
I can't see no doggone tracks in all this dark.
Never mind.
Yes, sir, but how are we going to see where...
Just ride and be quiet, Chester.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
All right, hold up.
Oh.
Now, let's get these horses hobbled.
Oh, I think they'll stand, Mr. Dillon.
And I want to make sure they do.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll walk back to the Nestor's cabin.
Walk back? Well, what in the world for?
That woman said her husband was out hunting, but there was a Sharps 50 leaning in the corner. A man doesn't go hunting and leave his gun home. All right, come on.
It could be Mr. Kirch took another gun with him.
He's too poor to have another gun.
Well, where do you think he is?
I don't know, but there's something wrong back there, Chester. His wife was mighty anxious to be rid of us. Usually it's hard for a traveler to break away. The people are so hungry for news and a little talk.
I guess that's right.
Yeah. Now watch where you put your feet.
Yes, sir.
It only took a few minutes to make our way back to the Nestor's cabin, where a pale light showed through the chinking and under the door. Some 30 feet short of the cabin, we stopped. We could hear voices inside. I motioned to Chester, and we stretched out flat against the ground, and then inched our way closer. Now we could make out it was a man and woman talking. One voice was Miss Kirch, and the other was either her husband or T-Bow.
Hurt him. They said that.
He ain't hurt bad.
There's blood on his face.
I hit him to keep him from talking out. You come around.
I got rid of those two men like you told me.
Is that him?
Said you
Mr.
wouldn't
Dillon?
hurt Abe if I did that.
Wait a minute, Chester.
I just hit him on the head. Now, shut up.
We ain't never harmed nobody. I did what you said, and I...
I told you to shut up. You open your mouth again, and I'll fix your husband good. Get your food out on that table. Gotta have me something to take along.
What is that to do? But...
Chester, he's busy now packing up that food. Crawl around to the back of the cabin, then make some noise.
What sort of a noise?
It doesn't matter, just so he knows somebody's out back.
Well, then what?
I don't know yet. I'll get going.
That's fine.
You take all that, what we gonna eat?
You're hungry.
Those men here were the law, weren't they? One man said he was a marshal. They've been following you. You must have done something bad, real bad.
I killed a man who talked too much, woman. And I just... Someone's out back.
Please, look, shut up.
I'm going out. Don't you make a sound or I'll come back for you.
All right, T-Bow, drop it.
What?
I can see you, T-Bow. Drop your gun or I'll kill you.
Well, now, hold on, mister. Let's talk a minute, huh?
You can't shoot at my voice. Now drop it.
No, I won't.
Everything all right, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of too bad you had to kill him. But then they'd have hung him for a horse thief anyway.
Yeah.
And he killed Jim Redigo, too, Mr. Dillon.
Forget it, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Now, we better get into the cabin. There's nothing we can do out here. We did what we could to make Kirch rest comfortable, and then sat up half the night talking to his wife about Dodge, the railroad, stores, All the news a woman would be hungry for. And the next morning early, Chester and I started on the ride back to Dodge. It was clear and bright, and we made good time. Chester riding along feeling mighty proud. The nester had said he couldn't feed another horse, and so Chester was trailing his own buckskin and riding the big red stud that T-Bo had been using. Yeah, Chester was mighty pleased with life. And T-Bo, who'd stolen the stud a few days earlier from Jim Redigo, was buried out on the prairie with stones piled on his grave to keep off the coyotes.
In just a moment, we'll tell you about next week's adventure on Gunsmoke. If you want to be a real good scout, Mom, tell you what to do. See that your whole tribe sits down to Post Toasties for breakfast in the morning. What a way to start the day for every big and little Indian in your wigwam. You see, Post Toasties are heap good cornflakes. Spankin' fresh, crisp, with that sweet kernel corn flavor toasted right in. It's a feather in your cap to serve 'em. Sure, because Post Toasties are not only the best thing that's happened to corn since the Indians discovered it. Post Toasties are the best thing that ever happened to breakfast. And say, if you want to make a good thing even better, add your favorite fruit to that bowl full of Post Toasties, sugar, and milk. It's mighty delicious nourishment. Get Post Toasties, the heap good cornflakes, next time you shop. Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Norman MacDonald, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Helen Cleve, Ralph Moody, James Nutter, and Paul Frees. Harley Bear is Chester, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Ken Peters speaking. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, tries to prevent mass murder during his fight to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Listen next week at this time when Gunsmoke will be brought to you by Post Toasties, the heap good cornflakes.